It is full-on recruiting season right now for Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs. Big month of January. Kirby and the staff have been out checking on some top targets, going around adding new prospects to the recruiting board, checking out some of the best, fastest rising prospects in Georgia and across the country. And this weekend, they will have some of the best prospects across the country in town for a big junior day visit. And that's what I'm going to talk about in today's video. Of course, you can go over to dawgpost.com and read about all of this that I'm going to talk to you about and more. A lot of in-depth recruiting notes over on the website, so make sure you are over there checking that out. I'm not going to talk about every confirmed visitor because I want to make sure y'all are heading over to the site, but I wanted to talk about some of the top guys, right? There are, I think, several 5-stars going to be in town this weekend, and it starts with Tyler Atkinson. I think he is arguably the best linebacker that I've covered. And I've been doing this for 10 plus years. I've covered every linebacker that signed with Georgia over the last 10 years. Tyler Atkinson is easily one of the best, if not the best, at least out of the state of Georgia. He plays at Grayson High School, elite 5-star linebacker, coming off a massive junior season, 166 tackles, 32 tackles for a loss, 13 sacks, 1 interception, and led Grayson to a state championship. One of the best prospects in the country. He'll be back in Athens. And this is a big deal for a lot of reasons, but this is not all NIL related. Yes, some of that is going to go into his decision, as it should, as one of the best players in the country. But that's not the only factor going into this. So I think Georgia's sat in an excellent position for a long time, but Ohio State is still in the mix. Alabama, I believe Clemson. Everyone wants this kid, but Georgia's done everything they possibly can since he was in 8th grade to develop a relationship with him, and he could be the next great Georgia linebacker if that's where he ends up at the next level. I think Georgia sits in a really good spot. And again, it's not all NIL related with this young man. A lot of it is development, the relationship with the staff, somewhat right down the road at Grayson, right? 45 minutes to Athens. So this is a top player in the country that I think Georgia sits in a good position for. He'll be back in Athens. Vance Spafford is a 4-star wide receiver from California that they already have on the commit list. He's one of the fastest players in the country, claims a 4.35 in the 40-yard dash, a 10.7, 10.69, basically in the 100 meters, caught 57 passes as a junior for just over 1,000 yards, 15 touchdowns for Mission Viejo in California. Blocked 2 punts on special teams. One of the best athletes in the state over there. He's ranked as the number 13 wide receiver prospect in the country. Number 76 overall player in the country from California. Again, already committed to Georgia. Fantastic player. Go look up the highlights, and he'll be back in Athens this weekend making that trek across the country. So that says a lot about how bad they want to keep him on board and how much he's still very much interested in Georgia, being a kid out in California. Jontavius Wyman is another Georgia commitment in the 2026 class. Somewhat local, at least more local than California. He plays at Jonesboro, so not Athens area, but an in-state kid. Can play defensive back, wide receiver. He's a return specialist. This kid can do everything. In the secondary at cornerback last year, made 32 tackles and 2 interceptions in coverage. On offense, he caught 34 passes for 506 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's the number 14 cornerback prospect, number 154 overall. You turn on the film, this kid flashes. He's long, he's athletic, he's instinctual, great ball skills. He finds his way to the football. He's a football magnet. He's got a nose for the ball, always finds a way to make a play. He is a solid 4-star in the state that they already have on the commit list. He'll be back in Athens. I think he's a really good player, especially if he continues to add more weight, more muscle mass. I think he is only going to get better. Bryce Wright, a fantastic defensive tackle out of Buford High School. He'll be in town this weekend. Georgia was a little late on him as far as others were. I think Ohio State's probably the team to beat. They offered him very early in the process from what I remember. Alabama, little undersized. Actually, a lot of people would say he's really oversized. 6'2", maybe 6'3" on his tallest day. I think I'll give him 6'3" because he's taller than me for sure. But he's only like 250, but he plays on the interior, but he's explosive. He's quick off the snap, makes a lot of plays in the backfield. 57 tackles, 13 tackles for a loss, 9 sacks from the interior at a place at Buford, where they play really good teams week after week after week, some of the best competition in the state. And this guy is going out there just making plays. He is a consistent playmaker for them. and was one of their best players as a sophomore, again, for one of the best programs in the state. So really productive. He's the number 4 defensive line prospect in the country, number 53 overall. Georgia's trying to get back into this. I think they have a chance to get back in, but a lot of other programs are kind of on him harder first, or at least earlier in his recruitment. So we'll see if Georgia can kind of swing the momentum to their side. They've got a big opportunity to do that this weekend. Javen Osborne is one of the best running backs from Texas. He's going to be making the trip to Athens this weekend. Ran for over 1,000 yards, 21 touchdowns in just 9 games last year. So dude found the end zone. He found it often last year playing against quality competition in Texas. He's the number 6 running back prospect and the number 74 overall prospect in the country for the 2026 class. So that is a big-time playmaking out-of-state running back that Georgia definitely has their eye on. So we'll see if things can start trending Georgia's way there. Obviously, a long way to go. Kid's from Texas. He's got other big programs after him, but this is a big visit, no doubt about that. He's not the only running back that I'm high on who is in Athens this weekend. I'll get to him in a couple players. First, Kamari Brooks. He's a local kid out of Bogart. I believe that's North Oconee, right? North Oconee, that's in Bogart, right outside Athens. 6'4", 220, coming off a really, really big junior season for the Titans. I think they're the Titans. Yeah, I watched them play back in the fall. They have Landon Roldan, who's signed with Georgia. He's a playmaking wide receiver for them. So I saw them play at East Forsyth, and Kamari Brooks absolutely looked the part. He was just a junior, obviously, last year, but yeah, he looks like an SEC guy already, no doubt about it. Number 12 edge defender in the country, number 109 overall. So yeah, right outside of the top 100 in the country. That's a big-time player. He's got length. Plays aggressive, was in the backfield a lot. I don't remember the numbers from that game specifically, but he impressed, no doubt about it. One of the top edge defenders, not only in Georgia, but across the South, and he'll be in Athens this weekend. Then you got Carson Baker, a big-time running back. The state is loaded with running backs in the 26 class. There's a lot of them, and I think Baker, who plays at Langston Hughes, is one of the better ones. He can really move. He can really run, and does it at 6'1", 195. He claims he's got a personal best 10.65 in the 100 meters. Doing that at 6'1", 195, that is big time. If you watched him play in the state championship game or throughout the season, he was really, really impressive. Big kid who can run. He breaks a lot of tackles, ran for 1,282 yards, 13 touchdowns last season as a junior. He's got a bunch of offers. He's the number 17 running back prospect in the country, number 206 overall, one of the best running backs in Georgia, and a guy that is very interested in Georgia. So he's an Atlanta kid who will be in Athens, and again, a running back to keep an eye on, who's big and really has breakaway speed. Go turn on the tape. That kid can absolutely play. Ryan Mosley. I'll figure that out. I should know because I've heard about this kid for a long, long time now. He plays out of Carrollton, a 4-star, one of the best wide receivers in the state of Georgia, in my opinion. He's ranked as the number 18 athlete, number 240 overall, 6'2", 195. I'm putting him at wide receiver, and he caught a lot of passes for Carrollton this past year. As a junior, he caught 55 passes, 848 yards, and a team-leading 12 touchdowns. Big kid with body control who can snatch the ball out of the air, stay on his feet, pick up yards after the catch. He's tough to bring down and runs really well for a kid right around that 200-pound mark. So a good route runner. I mean, there's a lot to like. When I turn on the film, I definitely see why he has a Georgia offer. And if I'm Georgia, that's a kid that I'm pursuing pretty hard in the 26 class. I think they like him a lot. He'll be back in town this weekend again. So just a few guys. We're adding guys to the list all day long. If something pops up, if I hear from a prospect, I'll add him to this list so you can read it for yourself with more detail, a little breakdown of each player over on Dawg. So make sure you're checking that out. There's a lot going on. New offers are going out. They offered a quarterback in South Georgia. That has picked up a lot of offers, and I think a guy you'll start to hear about soon. So again, recruiting still matters. I know the portal is a big deal, but Georgia, this is still a program that wants to build from the high school level and develop. And Georgia's best players are guys that they didn't, they found at the high school level, developed 3 and out, right? Malachi Starks, Michael Williams, Jalen Walker. The best players in their class, for the most part, stay with them, turn into captains and leaders, and sometimes lead them to championships. So recruiting still matters. And Tyler Atkinson, an elite player who, could take on, that Nakobe Dean, Nolan Smith, CJ Allen, Jalen Walker type of role in the defense. He's got that potential. I think he'll probably do that no matter where he ends up, but still, that's the guy who's headlining this thing, an elite linebacker out of Grayson High School, one of the best prospects in the country, and a guy that I think Georgia sits in a really good position with. So again, you can read more about this over on Dawg Post. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you over on the website.